I'm Lauren Gleason. I'm a registered dietitian and board-certified specialist in kidney nutrition. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about kidney-friendly bread. And if you like videos like this and you want me to make more, then let me know by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. So, a common thing that people with kidney disease search for early on is the best bread for kidney disease. Like all packaged foods, we need to keep an eye on the sodium content and avoid phosphorus additives. Bread is the #1 source of sodium in the American diet, so finding a lower sodium version can have a big impact on your health. For people living with kidney disease, eating less sodium can help lower blood pressure, reduce your thirst, reduce stress on your heart, and prevent you from gaining too much fluid weight and feeling tired and short of breath. Many breads also contain phosphorus additives, which are bad for your cardiovascular health. Phosphorus is an ingredient in baking powder, so it's very common for baked goods to have added phosphorus. However, there are some breads with no added phosphorus. You just have to know where to look. So what exactly should you be looking for when you're shopping for bread? The best bread for kidney disease is going to be one that meets the following criteria. First, it'll have less sodium than calories. And this is going to be tricky, but if you're looking for the best bread for kidney disease, it's going to have fewer milligrams of sodium than calories. Most breads on the market contain anywhere from 2 to 2.5 times as much sodium as calories. If you can't find a bread with less sodium than calories, then just keep listening, because I will address that in just a minute. The ideal bread for kidney disease is also going to contain no phosphate additives, and you're going to need to check the ingredient list for the word phos and avoid any that contain additives. If you search online, you might also come across other suggestions for finding the healthiest bread, such as looking for a certain amount of fiber, extra protein, low protein, 100% whole grains. And while these are nice to have, I feel very strongly that the most emphasis should be placed on finding a lower sodium bread and one without phosphorus additives. That being said, it just so happens that the only breads that we found that met the criteria for sodium and phosphorus happened to also be whole grain, and they had a good amount of fiber. Okay, so one thing you may be wondering about is whether bread is high in potassium, and the answer to that is no. Bread is not typically considered a high potassium food, even the whole grain breads, and if you've taken our course, you know that if you have kidney disease, you may not even really need to be watching how much potassium you consume. It really depends on a lot of different factors. Now, as I said before, what if you can't find a low sodium bread? Depending on where you're shopping, there's a decent chance that you may not be able to find a bread that has less sodium than calories. And there's a couple of different options in these circumstances. First option, you could consider an alternative. So if you're making a sandwich, maybe you should use lettuce and make a lettuce wrap, or maybe you could find a low sodium, no added phosphorus corn tortilla and make a small wrap or a taco with your sandwich ingredients. If you were using that bread to make toast for breakfast, you can consider using a different type of carbohydrate like oatmeal for breakfast. If you're looking for a dinner roll to add to the side of your meal, consider swapping out that dinner roll and using a different starchy item like maybe rice or sweet potatoes or quinoa. Another option is to buy your bread online. Many groceries can be purchased online now and delivered to your home. So if you can't find the foods you need at your in-store grocer, consider ordering online. You can also ask your grocery store to stock your preferred breads. Many stores are willing to order specific foods if you ask. And then lastly, if you can't find what you need, choosing the bread with the least amount of sodium and pairing it with a low sodium food. So you've compared all the breads and they've all got too much sodium, then pick the one with the least amount of sodium and no added phosphates, and then pair it with some very low sodium foods. So if you've taken our course and you're following our strategies for a low sodium diet, you probably have some extra sodium in your day that you can use for circumstances like this. For example, nut butters. Nut butters such as cashew butter or peanut butter are both very low sodium foods. And so once you add like a thick smear of these nut butters onto a somewhat high sodium piece of bread, it actually evens out. So your overall meal will still be low sodium. And if you're looking for in-depth, affordable education on the CKD diet from an expert dietitian, then I encourage you to sign up for our CKD nutrition course. I'll link to it in the description of this video so you can check it out and learn more about how nutrition can help you preserve your kidney health. Now, let's talk about what breads on the market are low in sodium and contain no phosphorus additives. I have personally combed through the entire USDA database of foods with thousands of bread options, and I found the best breads for kidney disease. First up, we've got the Food for Life Ezekiel bread. The Food for Life brand has a lot of low sodium breads that are great for people with kidney disease because they're also low phosphorus breads. You'll only find this kidney-friendly bread in the frozen food aisle because they contain no added preservatives. Keep it stored into your freezer until you're ready to use it, and then keep it in the refrigerator to maintain freshness. This bread is considered low potassium as well. If you really want to cut out some sodium, then you can try the Food for Life low sodium Ezekiel bread. This kidney-friendly bread is also found in the frozen food section, and it must be frozen or refrigerated to maintain freshness. It contains 0 sodium, so it's definitely a low sodium bread. And this is great if you're trying to make a big change in your sodium intake. This kidney-friendly bread would also be considered a low potassium food. Another great option for a kidney-friendly bread is the Pepperidge Farm whole wheat bread. This is a great low potassium kidney-friendly bread. It has more calories than sodium, so it's a low sodium bread. It also contains no phosphorus additives, so it's considered a low phosphorus bread too. The slices are big, so you may find that cutting one piece in half is enough to make a sandwich. They do make a smaller slice version that is also kidney-friendly if you prefer smaller slices. When you're shopping for this bread, be sure you're purchasing this exact one though. Pepperidge Farm also has what they call a farmhouse line of breads, and that one has a whole grain bread as well, but it's not low sodium. So always check the labels to make sure you're grabbing the right one. Next, we have Pepperidge Farm honey wheat. So if you like the honey flavor in your bread, they also have a honey wheat version that's considered low potassium, low sodium, and low phosphorus. Again, these slices are going to be a bit big, so you may only need to use one when you make your sandwich. And that wraps up our best breads for kidney disease. I know that's a short list, but there are some great options, and I'll include a link to this webpage in the description of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you want me to make more videos like this, then please let me know by liking this video on YouTube and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thanks.